Hello YouTube. This video is going to be a continuation of a video I posted here on YouTube a while ago. And in that video I answered a question that someone asked, and that question was, do I believe in God? And the answer to that question was no. And the answer that I'm going to give here is also no. What I believe in is nature. And for me, nature is another word for God. So let me explain. When you look at the different pagan pantheons that's out there, they're all associated with the different things in nature, or the different forces of nature. If you look at the god Zeus, Zeus is associated with thunder, because Zeus is a thunder god. If you look at Poseidon, Poseidon is associated with the ocean. If you look at Diana, Diana is associated with the moon. If you look at Gaia, Gaia is associated with the Earth Mother. So that's my take on it. I don't believe so much in what you would call a being that walks around and punishes you if you're good or bad or whatnot. I stopped believing in that when I stopped believing in Santa Claus. I always, believe that God is sort of like the Santa Claus for adults. He punishes you. Well, I don't think Santa Claus punishes you, but of course Santa Claus rewards you if you're good. He knows when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows when you've been bad or good. So be good for goodness sake. Sound familiar? It's almost like they try to get you when you're young to accept certain concepts. But for me, it's just it never stuck. And I remember this one incident that happened on a playground, and I was in elementary school when this happened. And most of us, we were pretty hip kids. We never believed in Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny or anything like that. And I don't think I've ever really truly believed in Santa Claus. I think my parents were a little bit more intelligent to try to get their kids to actually believe in Santa Claus. But some people actually they get their kids to believe that this guy who travels the world, and goes down chimneys and gives kids, good kids of course, gifts if they're good. So, but that's sort of like skipped my household. But anyway, I remember in elementary school being on the playground, and this kid was like crying and going crazy because the other kids were telling him Santa Claus is not real, and he was just trying to tell these kids Santa Claus is real. And I just thought that was just so silly, and I just couldn't believe that this kid actually believed that Santa Claus is real. But then again, I wasn't one of the guys, by the way, who was teasing this kid. I just was sort of standing on the side, just in awe that this kid actually believes that Santa Claus is real. But anyway, getting a little bit off the subject, but one thing I do want to say, and I know this is off the subject of what I'm supposed to be talking about in this video. Why are we seeing Christmas ads now? It is August 27th. And believe it or not, I saw a Christmas ad. Now, it's bad enough that we see Christmas ads in October and Halloween, my personal favorite holiday. But we're starting to see Christmas ads now. And even technically, I've even seen them before now. That here in Michigan, some company has this thing called Christmas in July. It's like, come on, people. Anyway, I'm getting off the subject, but I did kind of want to bring that up. That'll be a subject of another video blog, by the way. But anyway, the way I see it, as far as divinity is concerned, as I said before, The gods of nature are the gods: earth, air, fire, and water. That is, what I consider the gods, and that is what I don't necessarily worship them. I respect them because I respect nature itself, and I respect the forces of nature. When I go outside and I look at a tree, I have the greatest respect for that tree because trees, they help produce air and oxygen here on Earth. I do not bow down to the tree and and worship the tree. I respect the tree. So that's a difference, at least in my perspective. Okay, and now these guys, they're some of them, depending on who you talk to. Like, say if you're a Christian, there's a good God, and then there's this devil. And of course, God is supposed to be all good, all knowing, ever present, and this, not another, and this so called devil is supposed to be evil. Now, according to the Christian concept, I guess the devil isn't a god, or Satan isn't a god, depending on who you want to call him. I guess you can say, Satan and the devil are two different things, but I don't want to get too philosophical here. But for lack of a better word, this is call him. Well, actually, this is call him Lucifer, right? He's the fallen angel, so he's not a god. He's a fallen angel, right? So you have this good god, and you have this fallen angel called Lucifer. Well, these concepts are still is based on good and evil, and from my perspective, good and evil are extremely subjective. They're not objective concepts. Now, what happens is in our daily lives, we tend to agree on certain things. Like, I would say that 9/11 was evil. And I think that most people would say that 9/11 was evil. But then again, there are people who believe that, things of that nature, if you believe in a religious cause enough, that something like 9/11 would not be evil. And of course, I totally disagree with that. But you have to look at it this way. If the concepts of good and evil and right and wrong, if they really were objective, we wouldn't have a court of law, and we wouldn't have a court of appeals. We wouldn't have people going into a court of law suing people left and right, or we wouldn't have people going into a court of law trying to get policies changed and things of that nature. So the whole concept, the Christian concept of good and evil, or a all good God and all bad devil, or Lucifer, or Satan, or whatever you want to call it, that does not enter my worldview at all. For me, everything is in a shade of gray. I've known some people who you would consider to be white light magicians, or white light people who follow a white light perspective on things rather, and they tend to be some of the most evil people in the world. All you have to do is look at the fundamentalists. And then I've seen some people who claim to be the Dark Lord, this, that, and other. And when you meet these people, if you actually sit down with these people, they tend to be the most intelligent people, or they tend to be the nicest people you ever want to meet. I remember, I'm starting to run out of time here. I remember when I first saw Marilyn Manson, and I was seeing his video. Well, actually, I would see like images of his face and this and that and other. I might have watched like one or two videos, and I wasn't that impressed at first. I wasn't impressed until I actually saw the man talk and speak and talk about why he did some of the things he did in his videos and his music, and I was highly impressed. So here we have, someone who's considered to be the devil or evil incarnate, and they tend to be the nicest persons in the world. So anyway, that's my perception on good and evil, God, and And that's it, 'cause I'm running out